All right, love, Nat King Cole. We're talking about Valentine's Day coming up. Isn't that one of those kind of manufactured days designed to sell candies and flowers? One of society's ways to create the fiction that the only way to be fulfilled and happy is to be with somebody else. Stef Safran, who is the owner of Stef in the City, the networking and matchmaking service. Your business is to make matches happen. Wouldn't you, though, even say that there is a huge amount of pressure, that there's nothing wrong with being solo? There's great joy and pleasure in being by yourself sometimes.
I think that people sometimes, it's like some people get into their birthdays, some people are not into their birthdays. In my case, I get a double whammy because my birthday's February 12th, so it's coming right around Valentine's Day. So imagine I meet someone.
Did your parents plan it that way, by the way?
I'll have to talk to my parents, but my dad's birthday is actually today. So, we just kind of go boom, boom, boom in my family. But people take birthdays, people take any sort of holidays differently. And you really have to communicate what your expectations are. Because to some people, maybe they're not thinking that Valentine's Day is a big deal, and they'd rather go out to dinner on a night that not everybody else is out there.
Well, like when you and I were talking beforehand, I don't know that I'll do anything with my wife, who's probably listening right now, because I'm doing stuff all through the year, not just the dishes and the laundry, etc., but I'll bring her flowers. She had flowers a couple of weeks ago, unexpectedly. Derived great pleasure in that. So I think that's really the heart speaking, rather than these artificial days where the obligation is to do something. Nonetheless, Stephanie, your talent is to bring people together. So Valentine's Day, changing cards and candy hearts at school is fine, but still, some people do take it kind of seriously.
I think if you're in a new relationship, you kind of have to put something out there of what it is. If you're going to, exchange gifts for Christmas, you probably also kind of want to put it out there too. You don't want to, you spend $20 and the guy spends $200. I mean, a lot of people, they forget to communicate what's important to them. So if someone really likes flowers, then you can't just think in your head, oh, I really like flowers, and expect the guy to do it, or vice versa with the girls. You really have to communicate your expectations.
It's the obligation on the guys more than the girls to give something.
I think this holiday is it definitely kind of is traditionally more for the guys to get the flowers
and don't they kind of get
and the candy.
Nervous and paranoid because, I got to do something unexpected. I got to do something different. Candies, flowers, no. What else?
Well, again, it comes down to each individual has to decide what's really important. I mean, if it comes down to if you don't get flowers for Valentine's Day, you're assuming they don't, that someone doesn't care about you.
It's a signal.
That's not necessarily true, but it does come down to what you do in the other 364 days of the year. It's not just one day doesn't make up for everything else. And some people prefer going out on a different night than Valentine's Day night because of, if there's crowds or because it's overpriced. And some people, and it's on a Thursday this week. So some people are like, I'd rather do it on a weekend when I have more time. So it just comes down to different people have different thought processes as to what it means. And you can't just make a blanket statement that Valentine's Day means, it has to be this way or it's not done correctly.
All right, we want to go out on a date. Mm-hmm. Help us break out of the routines of life that seem to be working against us.
Well, I think people always want that instant fix. There's that great party that they don't have to really do the research and do the work to find things. If you're just watching Netflix every weekend, I know it's cold out. I know people hibernate at this time of year, but you still have to figure things out.
But it's only $1.50. Okay. You're trying to make a bigger point.
It's $1.20, but, yeah.
I get the Blu-rays. Right, go ahead.
$40, but you really have to, if you choose because you're tired on a Friday and Saturday night to not go out, that's fine. But then you still have to make plans to do something during the week. There's so many networking opportunities that are much more social than they used to be because the old singles types things, especially with the internet, it's just not the same what it used to be. So you have to really look for things with other titles than just singles, or look to do things other than go to the same bars or restaurants with your friends. You really have to get out of that rut. You have to find people that are looking to do what you're doing and not just go with your same five friends.
And you got to be conscious about that because it's almost reflexive. You go through the same patterns, same places, same people, same routines. And you've got to think, wait, stop. I'm going to go and just walk down this street. I don't know what I'm going to find, but just do something different maybe a little bit out of the comfort zone too.
You're talking that you're in a huge city with so many different areas to go to. And if you talk to a lot of people, if you ask them, when was the last time they tried a new restaurant, a lot of times they kind of look at you with like a blank stare.
I say Groupon. That's what we do.
I think Groupon, and I'm for the Yipits, because the Yipit also encompasses all the different types of Groupon type of sites, so that you can find the interesting things. I mean, the other day, for Valentine's Day, let's say you want to go to King's Spa or the Gallows Caves. Both of those places are inexpensive spa places to go. I know that King Spa is open 24/7. So you guys decide to go at the last minute and go with a group of girlfriends or go with a date, you can totally get away from the whole Valentine's Day.
They have an opening at 1 a.m. perhaps.
1 a.m., 2 a.m.? Absolutely.
And joining groups, I think these are just sort of the dating 101 kinds of things. Church groups, volunteerism. I mean, there's so many ways to meet people.
You've got those types, but now you have the different social sports groups. You have people who are into book clubs. You have people who are interested in going out to different restaurants. There's a lot of people, or going to museums, biking, hiking. People who like to travel. Maybe it's weekend getaways. Maybe they want to travel abroad. There's a lot of groups out there.
This time of year, ice fishing.
Hopefully it's not as popular as you might think. Ice skating.
Yeah.
But I've always talked about how the meetup has offered a whole new opportunity of finding things out, because a lot of groups that already were established have reestablished themselves on there. And if you don't see it out there, you can create it.
How's business?
Business is great.
Any anecdotes? Stories of love found through you?
Yes, actually, I have one that happened recently. It's what I say is that you have to wait on the timing. I had a woman that I introduced to a guy about 1.5 years ago, and she was kind of seeing somebody else at the time. She decided to see guy number one.
It's always guy number two.
So I had always thought guy number two, the one I set her up with, was the right guy for her. And she ended up going out with guy number one for about a year and a half.
Lesson.
And then when they broke up, she went back to him. He happened to be available, and they are happily in a relationship. And they, have their yoga in common. They have their, all these activities. But the thing is that she wasn't ready at the time, and maybe he wasn't either, because maybe he didn't see it. But the thing that I always tell people is when they come to me for dating advice, you can't expect that everything's going to be there. If it takes a couple of months, it's much more worth it than a couple of months of bad dating.
StefInTheCity.com?
Yes, you can find me there.
Stephanie, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.